Welcome to this channel. Mau belajar bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris dengan cara yang seru, santai, dan mudah dipahami? You're in the right place. Belajar kosakata dan ekspresi sehari-hari. Learn daily vocabulary and expressions. Dengarkan contoh situasi nyata. Listen to real-life examples. Subscribe sekarang dan nyalakan notifikasi. Let's learn together and have fun.
You know that feeling, stomach's rumbling? Maybe that coffee just didn't cut it.
Oh, yeah.
Or you finish exercising and you're just parched.
Definitely. We all know hunger and thirst.
Exactly. And that feeling is kind of our jumping off point today. You shared some really interesting Indonesian language learning materials with us.
Yeah, beginner level stuff.
Right. And on the surface, it looks like vocab lists, grammar points.
Yeah.
But we think there's actually some cool cultural stuff hiding in there.
That's the idea. It's amazing how even a really basic dialogue, something made for learners, can be like a little window, right? A snapshot into daily life somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the short conversation, Edie and Wayan, plus the translations, word lists, some sentences, grammar bits, and interestingly, a whole piece on Indonesian breakfast.
So the mission today, dig into this simple exchange and we'll pull out those surprising cultural bits woven into the language.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. EB kicks things off with adu. Wayan says apa, and Edie replies masih lapar. Now, the translation gives adu as au, apa as what, and masih lapar as I'm still hungry. But that adu, it feels like more ting just, bumping your elbow. There's a vibe to it.
Yeah, you're right. Ow is one meaning, sure, but adu can also signal like mild discomfort, surprise, maybe even a little bit of, oh, honestly kind of feeling.
Right.
So adu masih lapar isn't just fact, I am hungry. It's got this slight weariness maybe, like, ugh, I thought I ate enough, but nope, still hungry.
Exactly, that still is key. Then Wayan's simple apa, what?
Yeah.
Totally natural response to someone just saying, dude.
That's up the problem.
Yeah. Edie clarifies, masih lapar, I'm still hungry. And that's just relatable, isn't it? That lingering hunger.
Absolutely. That's the universal bit right there. Hunger, we get it. So the conversation moves on. Wayan asks, mau makan apa?
Which means, what do you want to eat?
Yep. And the notes point out the grammar, mau for want, plus a verb, like mau makan, want, eat. Super direct. It's a pretty simple structure for expressing what you want.
It really is. So, mau makan apa? And Edie's answer, mau makan bubur, tapi haus juga.
Okay, so I want to eat rice porridge, but I'm also thirsty.
Right. Now, bubur. This feels like our first real cultural signpost. The lesson materials even have a section on it later. Mm-hmm. But just the fact that boober is Edie's go-to answer here, that seems significant somehow.
It really does. It suggests boober is, well, common, easily available, top of mind when you're hungry, maybe.
Oh, and then bang, the thirst kicks in. Tapi haus juga. But I'm also thirsty.
Again, super relatable, hunger, thirst. They often tag team.
They do, which leads Wayne to ask, mau minum air apa?
Do you want to drink water or juice? And here's another grammar point they explain. Using apa for or when you're giving options. Air apa, water or juice.
Simple enough. Water or juice. Seems like standard choices.
Yeah.
But then Edie hits us with a surprise.
Yeah.
He says, nagaka maminum beer.
Oh.
Meaning, neither. I want to drink beer.
Yeah.
The notes say nguk is the informal way to say no or not.
Right, like nah or nope.
Yeah. So going from water or juice straight to beer, That's a bit of a left turn. It definitely catches your attention.
It does. It makes the whole exchange feel a bit more casual, doesn't it? And maybe tells us something about Edie, or at least the situation they're in. Beer's on the table, apparently.
Literally or figuratively. Okay, so let's circle back to this bubber that Edie wanted. The cultural insight section dives into this.
Yeah, this part's interesting.
It says bubber is, well, essentially rice porridge, made by boiling rice slowly with lots of water, but they call it a blank slate.
Exactly. That's the key bit. It's not just plain rice mush, it's a base. And depending on where you are in Indonesia or just what you like, you add different things to it.
Like what? What kind of things?
Well, the notes mention chicken broth, sometimes noodles, chopped garlic, scallions. Chili sauce is common too. It can be savory, quite rich actually.
Okay, so definitely not just bland breakfast porridge then. Much more complex.
Way more complex. And that adaptability, using local ingredients, making it your own, that feels very Indonesian. Some places even have specific bubur for ceremonies, apparently. So it's got cultural weight, too.
That's fascinating. And the main takeaway they emphasize, which might challenge, say, a Western idea of breakfast,
is that bubur isn't just for breakfast.
Right. Even though it's popular in the morning, people eat it any time of day in many parts of Indonesia.
Yeah, it's not locked into that breakfast slot like, say, cereal might be for some people. It's just satisfying food.
Yeah.
Whenever.
So when Edie says, mau makan bubur, it's not weird. It's just like saying, I want something filling and good. It gives us a peek into a different default for a satisfying meal.
Precisely. It tells us something about Indonesian eating patterns, this versatile dish that fits in whenever you're hungry.
Okay, what about some of the other words and sentences in the lesson? Do they add any more color? We got masih for still.
Which we saw with Edie being still hungry.
Masih lapar.
Then lapar, hungry. Haus, thirsty. The core feelings here. The drivers of the whole conversation, basically.
And the verbs makan, to eat, and minum, to drink. Essential stuff. You can see how these build the whole exchange.
And the sample sentences are quite good too. They give context. Like, there's one, masih jalan-jalan. I'm still walking around. It uses masih again, showing that ongoing feeling, just like the hunger.
Ah. Right?
And there's an example about a hungry man looking for food in the fridge. We all know that image.
Ah.
Or a thirsty dog drinking from a swimming pool. Very vivid. Makes the idea of house stick.
And they even have a sentence. Mas mau minum beer. Do you want to have beer? Which connects right back to Edie's unexpected request.
Reinforces that it's, a plausible thing to offer or want in that setting.
And finally, aduh, sakit.
Oh, it hurts.
Just another reminder of how aduh works as that little exclamation of feeling.
Exactly. And touching on the grammar again quickly, that structure mau plus a verb.
Want, eat, want, drink.
It really highlights how direct expressing wants can be in Indonesian. Does that simplicity maybe hint at something cultural, like valuing clear communication of needs? Maybe.
That's an interesting thought. And the app before or, it's just a neat way to give choices, water or juice. Keeps things moving.
These little grammatical bits just help the conversation flow naturally.
So thinking about all this makes you reflect, doesn't it? Like, what are your go-to foods when you're starving? Is there something specific you always crave? Maybe something from growing up?
Or those weird thirst cravings. Edie wanting beer instead of water. Have I ever had a moment like that? Suddenly needing something totally unexpected.
Maybe after some really salty food, perhaps.
Yeah. And stepping back, it really shows how these simple choices, what we eat, what we drink, are tangled up with culture, aren't they?
Absolutely.
What's considered normal, what's eaten when, how we even say we're hungry. It's all shaped by the cultural context.
So, wrapping this up, we started with just a basic beginner's dialogue. Hunger, thirst. Pretty simple. But digging in, we found some cool stuff about Indonesian culture. This versatile dish, bubber, that's way more than just breakfast porridge.
And how easy it is to say what you want with Mao.
Right. And even Edie's surprising beer request gave us a little hint about the casual feel of things.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? And maybe this is something for our listeners to think about. What other cultural insights, what little nuances might be hiding in plain sight in everyday conversations in other languages?
That's a great question. How much is revealed just by listening closely to how people talk about mundane things?
Exactly. Maybe this quick look at Edie and Wayne talking about lunch or whatever meal it was sparks a bit of curiosity.
Yeah, maybe now you're thinking about trying bubber if you get the chance. We're looking more into Indonesian food or language.
It just shows even basic human needs like hunger and thirst can open a really interesting door into understanding another culture.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.